Hey there, it's Mike. It's late. It's late in the evening, and I'm up here to rig a boat. We've got to go through and re-rig a complete 8. Let me show you. We're going to re-rig this pocock, and it's got to go from starboard to port stroke, and it's not a it's just not a little tweak, especially with the pocock riggers, because these are wings here. So as you can see, we've got all sorts of hardware to take off. And I'm going to do it less than 5 minutes, and I'll show you. So the first thing we do is make sure that the starboard stroke riggers, we actually want to be over on the port side. So this starboard stroke, we want to now be port stroke. We need to double check so we're not wasting any time. Second thing here is a nice tool tray that we will throw our tools on. And the third thing is we got to get some music. Okay, so here's our toolbox. Let's get the tools we need. We're definitely going to need some of our favorite wrenches here. So this is a US boat, so we need 7/16 with the pocock's half, another half, and another 7/16. So there we have those four. As I talked about before, I really like the box ends. So we've got those. And let's find our tape measure, our handy dandy tape measure that goes metric. And we have our Bill Levitt pitch meter. A little bit bunged up there, but this is my favorite pitch meter. And got my name on the back. Yay. And then you get a nice adjustable. And then the other thing we'll really need is some tape. Yeah, we're going with a flash. That's what we need. Okay, with the wing riggers, this is what I'm going to suggest you do. And this is what I do. I come back here and I loosen these up first here with my adjustable. And the reason we want to loosen these up is because they're very difficult to get loosened once either this is off or this is off. So you want to get those loose. Then what you can do, or what I do, and I use my 1/2 inch up here. So we come over here, get our 1/2 inch, nice looking wrench, and we come over here, put this on, and I'll loosen this up. Now I'm not going to take this off yet, because when I move this hole, the rigger stay, the wing to the other spot, we're probably going to be pretty close with the length here. So it may be just a slight tweak. Okay, that's the first step on the adjustments. Then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my 2 7/16 right here. So I have to take this off, and you'll see down here, take these off. There, over here, and over here. That's what we're going to do next. Well, one of the things I do is I'm going to take this side off, the starboard sides off, go all the way down the boat and take those off, and then cut across and come down this side and take all those off. That's a lot easier than taking these off, than walking around the boat and going over there. So all these are coming off next. And what I do is when I put them right in this, the pococks, different seats are different places. I like the little cups here in the pococks. Perfect. The ones for the tailbones are great for the nuts and bolts. Okay, well, we've got the one side here all done. As you can see, these along here are all done. Interestingly enough, I called all these the starboard riggers, or the starboard side, and they're not. It's the port side. And that's what happens when you rig late at night. That's why you want to double and maybe even triple check things, just so you make sure you're not doing something you don't need to do, or vice versa, you've done something that is going to come back to haunt you. So now it's off to the other side. One of the interesting things about doing the other side is you can see these rigger here on this side, which is now the port side, the hardware's off. As soon as I take these off over here, this whole frame will become loose. So it's one of those things where I'm over here taking this off, this whole frame could easily fall. So I have to be very cautious of that. So we'll see if we can get a little tape of that. All right, back in a few. Alrighty, now as I said, once you start taking the hardware off, this frame will become loose. You have to be very, very careful about what happens, especially on this side where the weight's on the side towards me. So usually, sometimes I'll use a drill with a socket on it, but couldn't find it right now. Sometimes the process of looking for time-saving tools in itself can use a lot of time. All right, here it is. As soon as I take this one off, this frame, and it's a little bit uncomfortable. You can see what I'm doing with my hip. I have my hip right up here. It'll also be held by the stays on the other side, so it's got a little bit of pressure there. But this is you can see how the boat's rocking a little bit. This is a point here. Let me tilt the camera a little bit. You can see right here, once this pops up, that we're free and easy. You can see how that's all come loose. So I'm going to put the camera down here a sec so I can get this without a crash. Yep. There we said. There we go without crash. So I'm going to take this, and this will go under the bow seat. I took it off of the 2-seat, so I'm putting it under the bow seat because that's where it's going to get switched to, more than likely. You can tell why I've taken the bow seat rigger and put that now into the 2-seat there. So I'm going to go through the rest of the boat like that, and we'll be back in a moment. Okay, so all the riggers are off, as you can see, and I have them all nice and neatly underneath. And this is a really good time to take 3 minutes, less than, and just to look through, because when the riggers are off, it gives you a little time. So look at the foot stretchers. Give the feet a touch. Look at the seats. Give the seats a roll. You can tell this one's a little bit dirty. Definitely dirty in here. Check the speakers. Stuff that is a little more open now you can get to. This is a real good time to just check stuff. And one of the things I will be doing is right here is adjusting a few feet and moving them down for one of the two kids. We don't do that usually with a generic rig, and what I mean by that is when seats are changing all the time. When we put the lineups together, then we do that for the individual because it is a hassle sometimes to move those feet. So I find this is a good time just to spend a minute or two with the boat and just kind of look through everything and address it if you need to. Okay, do that and I'll be right back. I went through, didn't really find anything, which is nice. One little place is right here. You can see there's a little bit of duct tape here that somebody's put on. That would be worthwhile either taking off or fixing. The tape there can get kind of gooey ooey, if you will. I'm now going to put the riggers on. So I have to remember, was this starboard stroke and now I'm making a port stroke, or port stroke and make starboard stroke? Lucky enough I wrote it down, so I know now I'm making this boat a port stroke. So I'll be putting the port riggers on, and here we go. When I put the wing riggers on, I find it most convenient to put the far side on first, and not even putting it on tight. Here's one of the issues, is like, how exactly does the hardware go? So I know just from experience that we have the bolt and a flat washers on top, so I run that down. Take my hands off, it's going to fly off. Then I have a flat up against the boat. And we have a split washer, the little fellow right there. That's also called a lock washer, a split washer. And a nut, 7/16. Again, these being made in America, this is a poke-up. We use all U.S. customary system. So I'm going to run this up here. And you may be able to see me. Hey, I'm over here. I'm going to put that on. And by the fact that I just get this threaded, this rigger's on here. It's going to sit there. It's not really going to go anywhere. Now, it's not secure, but by having this little piece of hardware right there attached, at least I can set it in there, and that's a good start. It's one of the things about rigging wings is that where they flip-flop all over, they interlock. And what I mean by this backstay interlocks with the next wing, which I'll show you here. Well, we're about an hour into it, and maybe 45 minutes. I didn't keep a running watch. You'll see we just have the port sides on. You can see we got a nice little tilt to the boat. One of the things, I'll show you here, one of the things to watch out for is this right here. See how the shoelaces get stuck up under the wing? Now, I haven't put this hardware in this shoelace here stuck under the wing, so I just pull that out. But that's one of the things just to kind of look forward. So you've got this one nut and bolt assembly on each side. Now I'm going to go through and put the starboards on. So I'm going to move over to the other side of the boat and we'll run the starboards. My gum just died. The flavor left me. So I'm going to be gumless here. I can find another piece of gum too. Always have to have gum when you're rigging. I don't know why. I guess it's in the rule book somewhere. One of the questions I get quite often is, what washer goes where? Let me show you this right here. So, a flat washer here. So we've got the head of the bolt here, flat washer. Then down here we'll have a flat washer, and that'll end up going right up against the boat. And then this is our split washer right here at the end of my thumb. So the flat washer, then the split washer, and then the nut itself. So what we're after is a little bit of a sandwich here between the flat and the nut. And that's where the split washer helps, because you can see where the split washer is right now in there. That helps put a little bit of pressure on the nut when it's compressed to keep the nut from backing off. If you put the split washer right against the fiberglass, that little cut in it will chip away at the fiberglass. You don't want that. So flat washer, split washer, nut. Okay, making some progress, and if you look down, you'll see that we've got all the riggers are on. And what we need to do, I just have them on with just lightly secured with one hardware nut bolt assembly. So what I'm going to do now is go through and put 3 nuts and bolts and get them snug on each one. And those will be, I'm going to put one here, one here. Let me show you up here. This is a little bit better. I'll put one here, one here, one here. And then I'll wait on this one. And the reason I'm going to wait is because the top stay will be coming over and I have to get it adjusted so that it goes in there. And that will be the last thing I do. Well, we're making headway. We're definitely about an hour and 10 into it. And what we've done is we have our hardware finger tighten on all the riggers. And what I'm going to do is go through now with my 2 7/16 and I'm going to tighten up all the ones. Now some of the ones, there's a few that I can't get right now until I make adjustments. And that's towards the end of the boat, usually 8 and 7 bow. But most of the other ones, we can get the backstays in there just because the pococks especially are about the same width as you go down the boat. So now's the tightening part. Once I'm done the tightening part, then it's the adjustment part. So this first really hour is preparation to make the adjustments. So that's where we are going next. Okay, we've got the hardware tightened here as you go down the boat. The only ones that aren't tight right now are the ones here for the backstays, as I just went through. So now it's off to making the adjustments. And so what I mean by that is I have to get the rigging numbers because I'm going to start to move things. And specifically right here, I'm going to loosen this up. This tape marks where my spread is. And my feeling is that a lot of these will be about right, again, because of the width of this boat is pretty good. I mean, pretty consistent all the way through. But there will be a couple that I'll need to change probably down that end. Hey, you got a little bit lucky because I went through and I checked all the spreads. If you want to know the specifics on how to check spread, I've got a video up on that. And especially we have ones that show in the tape measure and also with a spread stick. I use Active Tool spread stick, but right now I just use the tape measure. And so I went through and checked them all, and the spreads were all at the number I want. I'm rigging this boat at 85. So I'm just going to go through now and adjust the backstay, check the pitch, then adjust the, sorry, late at night, check the backstay, and get that adjusted, and then get that bolted down on. The height itself, this adjustment here, I let the gals do that, and what they'll do is they'll do a height check. So they'll sit at the release, stern force setting up, bow force will sit at the release, and then trying to make sure that their forearm is parallel to the water when they're at the release and the blade's buried. They can adjust the height. They know how to do this. These are Pococks, and a lot of boats have these now, Ruzzies and such. Simple little in and out adjustments. Sometimes they're simple, sometimes they're not. It just depends. So we're getting down to it. Let's see, been here an hour and 30, not quite, 25 minutes. Tighten this up and make those adjustments. I'll get back to you, give you a quick update here. Be right back. One of the reasons I'll show you, see how that lines up right here? That's nice. I had to make this adjustment. This is why you want these loose, so I just was able to twist this and get this right into where we want it right there, so I can put the hardware on. So that's why I loosen that up beforehand. If I don't loosen it up before I take this off and it's free, it's really hard to loosen up. Okay, so I'm in the workroom. The bane of doing something like this is you always lose something. You're always short one washer, nut, bolt, something like that. So I've got to search through here. I'm actually short a couple washers. You probably won't be in here. So just got to look through the piles. There's a bunch here. So part of doing what we're doing. Can't find any gum either. Luckily I had my handy dandy Pocock replacement box here. So nice parts, and I've got a whole little assembly, and I'm going to use that, so we'll be good. Okay, so I got everything tightened, adjusted, on, and what we're going to go through, take my handy dandy 7/16, double check everything. One of the things about rigging this late at night is forgetting things, and one little loose washer, one little loose nut or bolt, and can bring a whole morning practice to a stop. So I'm going to go through and double check everything, and I'm going to ask the coxswains in the morning to double check everything. And what I mean by double check is I'm going to tighten these up. I'm going to make sure that this is tight, and then I'll make sure that these here are also tight. And then we should be pretty good for a morning row, and we'll chime in and let you know. If you have any questions, just drop me a note. I'm Mike from Max Rigging. Go fast. Oh, I forgot to tell you the time. It took, let's see, it's 10:10 now. Got here 8:30, so hour and 40 minutes, which is not too bad by yourself. And the best music to listen to, well, you get Glenn Frey in the background, and also Johnny Cash. That's the way to do it. All right, go fast.